Hello again, this is Kate with Kate's Paper Creations, ready to show you another card that I made using the Forever Fern sweet ingredients from the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. And this is the card we're going to make today, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Let's get started. Started with a 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece of thick Very Vanilla, which I will fold in half, which if you were scoring, you would score at 5 1/2. And I always forget to score, so there you go. And so fold it in half, and I'm going to create a side fold card today. Okay, I started with the Forever Greenery Designer Series paper, and there's just so many beautiful colors in this paper. This is the one I actually used, and it definitely has a definite up and down, but for my side fold card it's not so obvious, so I was okay to use it that way. But there's a lovely stripe, there's ferns and some dotted background here, some more stems and leaves, and just some really lovely papers. So that's the papers I'm using today, is from that collection. And I began by cutting a piece that was 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and because it's going to cover the whole front of the card. And then I used the stitched rectangle dies, and I used this size die, which is the number 4 one in the list, to cut out this window right out of the center. And I'll save this piece and use it somewhere for another card later on. So that's what I did with that. Then I turned it over and I put foam adhesive strips, that's these, all the way around the outside and the inside, so that it'll raise this whole piece up on the front of the card. And we can go ahead and actually attach that now, because everything else we're going to do can fit either through the window or on top. So let's go ahead and peel this up. Now, something I've discovered about the foam adhesive strips is that when you use them with regular dimensionals, the foam strips are actually equal to 2 dimensionals layered, one on top of the other. It's a little bit thicker than the standard dimensionals. So if you're going to use these and connect pieces or whatever, you're going to want to remember that when you're making things with it. Okay, now I got to do this. Let's see if we can do this right by getting our corner lined up as perfectly as I can, and then just laying it down. And there we go. There's our first piece. And if you turn it over and you see I happen to not have anything sticking out. That's not always the case. Sometimes I get just a little bit off. You can usually just trim it, but I did it right this time. Yay! Okay, so here we are. Now the next thing I attached for this card was from the Forever Gold laser cut specialty paper that is in the new catalog. And this is just beautiful paper, and all these lovely gold foil punch outs that you can use for various cards and designs. I am going to use these 2 pieces from that. I'll lay them down there so you can see them. And so eventually I will use both of them. And do be careful and check your things, because when I pull these out, every once in a while there's just a little bit of a piece hanging on in there. So I wanted to make sure and give you the hint that sometimes you need to just check it out. Make sure you don't have any chads hanging on there. Okay, and then we're going to attach this to the inside of the frame, and we're just going to tuck it in here. And if I have to trim it, I will, but this is what I want to do. I want to put it right inside here like this. So I am going to use my Zig 2-way glue pen, because I can control how much glue goes on. And I'm going to put a piece of scratch paper underneath so I don't get my surface sticky here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this on the tips of the, it doesn't need a lot because it's going to be protected. It's not like you're slipping it in and out of the card, but you do want it to stick a little bit. And like I say, I don't get too worried about that. Take that out of there, and then let's see if we can't tuck this in here at an angle. There we go, just like that. Got one little piece that wants to stick up. I'll just tuck it down. There we go, because it's okay if it sticks outside the frame. So there's our first piece. Okay, that one's flat on the card. Next, I used regular Very Vanilla, and I used the layering squares to cut out, and this is the square I used. It came out of this group of dies to cut out one square right there. So that came from just regular Very Vanilla, and I am going to ink the edges of it and stamp the happy birthday in the middle. The happy birthday comes from the Peaceful Moments die, and I am going to use the shaded spruce to do that. So let's stamp the happy birthday in there. And then I wanted it to stand out a little bit, so I'm going to dauber the edges. And again, I wanted to show you, this is how I store my daubers. I have a dauber for every color, and I created it's getting a little well used, but I created a little chart up in the lid that shows the different colors, and I need shaded spruce, which is going to be right there. I got these containers at Walmart for like $4, and I don't have to worry about trying to clean the daubers. They're always there, and it just sits in my side drawers here where I can get to it, and I have it to use to do what I want to do. So just a little organization tip. That's how I use some of my extra dollars when I have Hostess reward stuff on demonstrator orders or whatever. And there's the edge of that. So that is done. Let's put that away. Put that out of the way. And we're going to be using that again, so let's keep that there. Okay, so then this I attached with dimensionals, and I'm only going to use one layer of dimensionals. Remember I said that the foam strips actually are equal to 2 layers of dimensionals, but I want this to be, I'm going to end up creating like 3 different layers, and so this one is going to be only a single layer of dimensionals. And I'm going to put it here like, oopsie, just kind of giving it the equal border all the way around, just like that. So there's that part. Next, I stamped and cut out. This one I cut out without color. I just cut it out of vanilla. This one I stamped with just jade, and again I used the dies from the Forever Fern set. And this one I am going to put double dimensionals on the back, and I'm probably going to have to use minis on that. So let's see. That one off, put the second layer on. And you know, every card I make always has a slight variation in it. I don't think I ever make 2 that are exactly the same. It's kind of funny that way. And then the other end, I am going to put just a single glue dot on that and have it right on top there like that. And it's okay if it gets bumped because it's going to go kind of up under here on that end. Lift it up, there we go. And then we'll tuck that in. And oh, I guess it helps if you peel the sticky papers off the back of your dimensionals. There you go. And we'll stick those in like that. So there's that piece. Then let's see what's next. Oh, then I used a portion of this and I colored it first. Again, I used the shaded spruce, and I like to use brushes. Sometimes when I cut these out of just regular cardstock, I don't feel like they have enough variation. They just look so flat that I don't care for them that way. So I have a tendency to like to cut these out of a neutral color like white or vanilla, and then brush the color on, because then I can adjust the color and make it whatever I want it to be. And I'm only going to use a portion of this, so I'll just, you know, and I kind of like it when some's lighter and some's darker, and it just doesn't bother me at all that it comes out like that. That's what I like. And so on my card, I actually only used this portion right here. Okay, and then I also used another one of the pieces from the gold foil laser cut. This one I'm going to tuck, I'm going to trim it so it'll fit, and I want it to tuck just like this. So I'm going to trim off some of this so it'll fit. And again, I'm going to use my zig pen and put some dots of glue on the back of the leaves, and they're going to overlap onto that sentiment piece. So let's get that in there just like that. There we go. So there's that one, and then this we're going to just put over the top like this and let it kind of layer with it. So some of these, like here, are going to get glue dots, glue like this, and then the piece that sticks out over the front here is going to get a single layer of mini glue dots. And I mean, when I say mini, I mean less than mini, because I'm going to actually almost basically cut a mini glue dot in half. So you're getting a very tiny piece, because these are really tiny leaves. And we'll put them on here and hope they don't show. That's looking pretty good. I can turn it over and check it, and if it is, I can trim it. Yeah, there's just a little bit showing, so we'll just trim it a little bit more so that they don't show. And then we'll put some dots back here on these ones that are gonna be in the back. It doesn't need a lot, just a little bit to hold it in place. So there's those, and there's those. And I left the stem just like that. And I think this piece is going to need a little bit on it. Let's get that to dry, because I don't want it to get caught when you put it in the envelope. I don't want it to get caught on things, especially with it being a layered card like this. So I'm going to put a little dot right there and help that one stay down too. And that is the card. It wasn't that hard to do, but it's just kind of a unique look because of the layers caused by the frame. And I hope you enjoyed stopping by to see a new Forever Fern card that I designed. Thanks for stopping by. I almost forgot, I wanted to share with you that I also decorated the envelope. And so I used a piece of the Forever Greenery DSP, and I used this side to decorate the envelope. And so what I did to do that is I just turned this paper over, and I took an envelope and I laid it down like this. Oh, I'm not going to get that in the middle here so you can see it. I just took the envelope and laid it on here, and then just traced. This is the back side, so I could use a pencil and it didn't matter if it showed a little bit. And you might want to leave just a little bit of extra so that if you don't cut perfect, you've still got a little extra, because you can trim it off afterwards. And I just drew a line here and here just to the fold, and then took a ruler and I cut out the piece. So then I had a piece like this that I could attach to the envelope. And then when I attached it, I started with it attaching at the seam, at the fold, and then laid it down, and I just attached it with adhesive. And then if it was a little bit long here or here, I was able to just trim it off so it looked nice. And then that gives me my finished look for the envelope, so that you have a pretty envelope to put your beautiful card in to send to somebody.